Wow.
It's a great list.
That's an even better list than,
Your Jimmy G list?
Dusty the list.
That's a great list, though.
Great list. Nick, are you ready to believe in Purdy? Come on.
No.
Did you just see the graph?
Listen, I guess my question is this. Am I allowed to have an opinion that is different than what someone would have if all they had done was they were in a coma, they woke up, and they read the box scores? Am I allowed to, or does that have to be my opinion? If that has to be my opinion, you guys should say it. Because if you had never watched him play, and you just read the box scores, you would have an opinion.
I was in the coma.
Maybe, I'm not. But if you've watched him play, I put out a very simple test on Twitter yesterday. And I said, hey, do me a favor, America. Get a little sheet of paper, put check marks for plays, throws, where you go, yikes, that was bad. And check marks for throws where you go, wow, that was great. And I ended up doing it, and I came along what I think most people did. About 5 yikes and 2 wows. Something's going to stand out to you on this. What you have here is 5 of the greatest players ever, a guy from the CFL who played 1 year for Eric Dickerson's Rams,
also named
35
Brock
years
Oddly.
old, also named Brock Oddly. And then what do the other 2 quarterbacks have in common? Is it the strong jawline, the dimpled chin, or is it playing for the Kyle Shanahan 49ers? And is that not possibly slightly dispositive evidence that I should be able to have a larger sample size before I anoint him? Because based on the numbers, he is not good. Based on the numbers, he's great. Based on the numbers, he is a future MVP. And if you don't think he is one of, hands down, the 5 best quarterbacks in football, you are actually doing the same thing I'm doing.
No. Here's the thing.
What?
I agree. The reason nobody considers him top 5
because they
league,
watch the games.
Yes.
Yep.
And you watch the games, but you know what you also consider? The numbers. Okay, it's a combination. It's just like when you talk about whether it's Jordan and LeBron or Brady and somebody, championships. There are always those knuckleheads that want to say, it's just about championships. That's it. And it's like, no. Just because I bring up Jordan or Brady has 6 doesn't mean it's all about championships, but it's a part of it. There are other factors. Or same thing with people that go all the way 100% on analytics. No, analytics should be a part of the conversation, but it's not all of it. I agree. He's not as good as the numbers suggest, but he is a very good quarterback. And he's not Patrick Mahomes. I'm not saying he's an MVP candidate. What I am saying is I think he's a good enough quarterback with that supporting cast. I hate to even call it a supporting cast because there's a great team, right, that can win a Super Bowl. I'm not saying they will this year, but I think he is not going to hold them back from winning a Super Bowl. You know what he is, Nick? He is like he's a true point guard. Not a flashy true point guard like Magic Johnson or Jason Kidd that's going to give you a bunch of wild plays. But he's like a John Stockton.
What about Mario Chalmers with the Heat?
No, I don't know. I would not say Mario Chalmers. No. Seriously.
Okay.
This guy is a key cog. You know, like he doesn't make mistakes. And there are very few quarterbacks you can say that about.
True.
He was blitzed 75% of the time last night. And initially, he struggled against it. And he's a smart player. He picks things up quickly. And in the second half, you saw he was playing much better against that blitz.
Did you not think he made mistakes yesterday?
Oh, first half, he looked bad.
Okay, all right, go ahead.
But I've seen Patrick Mahomes
every quarterback
threw it
makes
to
mistakes.
offensive tackle a week ago.
That was a heady
So
play.
I'm just saying, like, this kid, the numbers are great. He's smart. He's got poise. He's accurate. There is nothing not to like about him except his draft position.
No,
that's it.
I disagree. I don't think that's the only thing. I think his physical attributes, and I think
they haven't hurt him.
I think they will. And at some
point,
I don't know when he got knocked out of the NFC title game. I think it hurt him a little bit.
Every quarterback that played for them got knocked out.
So you think if he spent more time in the weight room, his
I think smaller athletes are more injury prone. It's a crazy opinion that I know
but
only every
nobody's
doctor
saying he's
agrees
the
with.
best quarterback in the league.
No, but so that's the
he
thing
can clearly compete at a high level in this league. You even got him in the top 15 now.
I got him around 15, and which is I think where you have him.
Yes. So
well, then what are we arguing about?
But do you think that he will hold them back from winning a Super Bowl?
Yes.
Okay, that's what we're arguing about. Because I see no reason to believe he'll keep them from winning a Super Bowl because he doesn't make mistakes. Six straight games, including two in the playoffs that he started. I'm not counting the Philadelphia game because he didn't finish, where he has yet to throw an interception. That was Jimmy G's problem. He would throw make the bad play.
Yeah,
this kid isn't making those plays.
Go ahead, Wildes.
Well, do you think Floyd Mayweather is an exciting boxer?
No, I think he's one of the greatest athletes of all time, though.
But he's great, and this is what he does. Lots of little jabs, little smart
he's not
plays.
exciting at all.
Survives on defense, occasionally lands a few big shots, doesn't make a mistake, and never loses.
That's a good.
Brock Purdy,
so can I
why
ask-
is Brock Purdy Floyd Mayweather?
It's
not exciting. You're like, that was kind of boring. It just wasn't. And then you know what? I won again.
Okay.
I'm not losing.
But this is where. All right,
but at some point, you have to be like, what do you want Brock Purdy? He threw for 300 yards. You want to throw for 500 yards?
So, no, here's the thing, and this is where I will
600?
get a little.
The numbers.
Drew, let me ask you a question. What do Philadelphia, Dallas, Minnesota, New Orleans, Seattle, Washington, and Green Bay all have in common? I'll answer
In the
it
United
for
States.
you. They are all teams Wildes believed in more than Brock Purdy's 49ers
Well, I was just
3
kinda
weeks
rolling
ago.
the dice.
So when did you buy into Brock? When?
I rolled the dice.
Because everybody loves the defense, everybody loves the offense. So to act like I'm Mr. Bad Guy because I had the same skepticism you had 20 days ago.
I don't want to say why I don't believe in them.
What? Because you're worried they're going to get hurt because Shanahan doesn't protect his players. If that's
I didn't
the reason,
say it, but that is a
But
concern.
not just
I just
Brock.
don't want to
But
put it out
for
there.
everybody as well. But
Which has been a
if
problem.
Brock's great, he'll be able to deal with only 3 All-Pros on offense instead of 5. So if he's great, he'll be able to deal with those things. And you guys ask me what I want to see, and I know the gut reaction will be, well, you can't hold this against him. I'm not holding the fact that he has not been in adverse situations against him, but I am acknowledging.
You think he hasn't had adverse situations?
Well, we can show it to you. I mean, in the games, take out the NFC title game because we don't count that, and I think that's fair. He's had 50 minute of football trailing. He's trailed for 2 fourth-quarter minutes. I'm not holding that against him, but because of that how the Niners will look down 4 in a big spot, having to throw the football is an unknown.
He can throw the football, though.
But he
may not throw it 40 yards down the field on a fly pattern, but he can throw the football clearly.
I acknowledge that. What I'm saying is we have no idea how he looks when the other team says they have to throw. We have no idea. And everybody has to acknowledge that. We've never. Now, part of that's because they've been so good, and you don't hold that against him. But to just act like, well, that box is checked as a positive because it's an unknown, I think is ludicrous.
I would say that being thrown into this lineup last year in the middle of the season was an adverse situation.
I agree with that.
I would say starting your first game across from the GOAT, Tom Brady, is an adverse situation. And the playoff game against Seattle, your first ever playoff game, and you go for 300 yards. Like, he's had challenges.
I agree with you as far as what he's overcome.
Like he's shown the stage has not yet been too
I don't
big for him.
think he's going to get nervous. It's not that I think he's all of a sudden going to turtle. It's whether or not when the defense knows he's got to throw or when one of their superstars is not there, he is good enough to be a difference maker. Because right now I think there are 12 quarterbacks in this league definitively you drop that we all would agree with. You drop into the Niners, they're better. I think there's 5 more that they're the same, which puts him right around league average.
But that's hypothetical. I mean, I think he's better than league average. I mean, he's in the top 15, we both agree. And he could climb. I mean, we've got a small sample size, and so that's why I don't have him ranked higher. If he were to continue to do this for the next, say, 3 years, he's just doing this, and maybe one of those years is a Super Bowl win. He's definitely higher than top 15. He's in the top 10.
If you put him on where Mac Jones is right now, are the Patriots any better?
I'm not saying yet that he's a force multiplier. I don't know. I wouldn't have thought, because you're asking me a hypothetical.
Of course.
But we would, if I had asked you a hypothetical a year ago, what if Jimmy G gets hurt, Trey Lance can't play or is hurt, and they got to throw in Mr. Irrelevant? None of us would have said he's going to do this. None of us.
That's fair.
Even you with the Shanahan system and all that, you wouldn't have thought this Mr. Irrelevant is going to come in.
I don't
and
know.
do what
I don't know.
Because there are quarterbacks in Shanahan's system who haven't had
that,
success.
but we're not going to go down that road. But it should be noted, I believed in this team enough to pick them to go to the Super Bowl before they had Christian McCaffrey with a quarterback who at the time had thrown 40 passes.
But you really did think he was going to be a good
I thought he was going to be good, and I thought that anyone would be good in this system.
But that's not true.
But with these weapons, Brew, and we're not going to do the
we've
Nick
seen a lot of
Mullins
weapons.
thing.
I know, but I'm just saying, McCaffrey wasn't there, but a lot of the other ones were.
McCaffrey is
and it wasn't just those first 2 years. It's when even after Jimmy G led him to the NFC title game, then he got hurt, the team fell off.
Every single game of this player's career has been played with either the best or the second best defense supporting him, either the best or a top 3 play caller supporting him, and either the best or the second best supporting cast around him.
So do you take away from James Worthy because he played with the best point guard ever and the best center ever his entire career?
Brew, the answer to that question is absolutely people do. People don't consider Worthy a top 30 all-time player.
He's a top 50 all-time player.
Yeah,
that's
so
what he is. They don't knock him. His numbers don't warrant being top 30.
Maybe we weren't supposed to get the James
So
Worthy
now you know.
James
I'm
Worthy.
just saying, like,
well, I didn't know we were going to hit James Worthy, but we got.
I can come from anywhere.
You're all over the place. Yeah. Spreading around the field.
Speaking of being all over the place,
Let's take a look at the odds. The NFC.
I am too.
San Francisco, who you believe in at 1, Brew. The Eagles, who you picked at 2. Dallas, who you said is the best team at 3.
Yeah.
Then the Lions, who you said you were disappointed in, were on the bud list. Then it's Derek Carr, who is your dark horse MVP at 5.
Yeah.
So, Brew, better bet to win the NFC.
I made some good
Out
picks.
of all of your teams.
I made some
better
good picks.
bet.
All right.
Niners, Cowboys, Brew.
Let me explain my craft.
Okay, but I
No,
know.
and
Because
no,
I'm going to answer.
time
Apparently,
on James Worthy.
nuance and up-to-date analysis as opposed to cheerleading is frowned upon.
Who's that a shot at?
It's frowned upon
Who's
on
that
this
a
show.
shot at?
I give objective analysis.
That changes
all right?
segment to
Some
segment.
you think it's flip-flopping. It's actually objective.
I
You
agree
get
with
different
Now, here's where
information
I'm at.
between 3 and 4
I
o'clock.
have picked the Philadelphia Eagles to win not only the NFC,
Super Bowl.
the Super Bowl.
Yep.
I feel good about my pick. I'm sticking with my pick the whole year.
Okay.
All right. I am objective. So I said over the first 2 weeks of the season, the Dallas Cowboys have been the number 1 team. They have played the best football. They put the best football on tape.
But last night.
And so I would say they deserve to be at the top of your tiers.
Yes.
Because if we
we
just
got
don't
it.
stick with our picks,
But what'd you see
then
last
why
night?
we have tiers.
But what about last night? New data.
No, yes, new data. Because Dallas was just slightly better than San Francisco in the first few weeks. Now after last night, because here's the deal. You're asking me listen.
We're trying,
You are
Drew.
asking me not just who's been better early in the season, but of these 2 teams, who do I believe in more months from now? And it's the same pick I had in the preseason when it was Philly and San Francisco in the NFC title game. So I am riding with the Niners.
Okay.
Here's why. The
they're-
defenses are equal. I'd say,
They are?
especially with Diggs out now.
Okay, maybe.
So I think that's a washer. Maybe slightly
Sure.
down, but it's close.
Yeah, but you like Purdy more than Dak.
They've got more weapons. You know
I
that
agree with
offensively with
that.
San Francisco.
True.
Quarterbacks. I'm gonna say wash, but I'm also gonna say this about Iowa Mafia, Brock Purdy. I trust Brock Purdy not to make a mistake.
That's good.
And Dak Prescott has shown he will make the mistake.
so you
so
trust Brock
I am
more than
going
Dak.
with San Francisco, better chance
All
than
right,
Dallas
so
to make
I-
the season.
Well done.
Super Bowl.
That was well done.
You get
It
the
is-
nuance,
Yeah, I
the
got it.
No, I get it.
analysis,
I get all.
or would
No,
you
I got
like
it.
this?
No.
Okay.
I like the
Thank
latter.
you.
What?
Thank you.
I don't know if I need to pantomime cheerleading, but I can be much quicker because I have been what Brew calls cheerleading. I call the bastion
Bias?
of consistency. What do they call me, Wildes?
Mr. Consistency.
Exactly right. And before the year, I said, I think the Cowboys are the best team in the conference. Through 2 weeks, Brew agrees with me. And something very interesting happened last night. We now have a common opponent, Dallas and San Francisco.
Oh, come on.
Come on. Wait, no, this I will not abide. Hold on. This
Common opponent
Wait
is
a
always like,
second.
well,
If he wants to hang his hat on that, let him do it.
And it's like all of a sudden the Seahawks are better than the Chiefs.
I hear you.
Like the Lions.
But if that's what Nick wants to rest his hat on, go ahead.
Go ahead.
May I finish?
Yeah, go.
Thank you. I've listened for the better part of a week where the Giants were called, quote, the dregs of the NFL, woebegone multiple times. You might have set a record for woebegone usage earlier this week when talking about the Giants.
That's a $6 million
And
word.
the Cowboys, 40-0 obliteration of them was cast aside as if it was Texas playing its annual game against Rice. We then saw those same Giants on short rest without their two best offensive players be in a one-score game in the fourth quarter with San Francisco, and a game that finished not 40-0, not 30-0, but 30-12. And now the argument is, but the Niners are better. It makes no sense. Now, again, my analysis there came across a little biting and maybe even a little boring because consistency and accuracy can be that. But I don't have to explain why I have this team here and this team here, but this third team
we
there.
got to have
What?
the Lions ahead of the Chiefs.
Oh, yeah.
They actually beat the Chiefs. They didn't just beat a team that the Chiefs
Seattle's
beat by
ahead of
more
the Chiefs.
points.
Yeah.
They beat the Chiefs. So are we putting them ahead of the Chiefs?
By that logic, you would be totally correct, and if we would like to have that argument, we can have it. However, I, just so you know, have the Chiefs, as we will discuss later in the show,
as number one
in a category separate than every other team in the league.
So we
they've
don't
earned
judge
that.
them by
No, they have
okay.
their own standards.
They should be okay.
They do. They have their own rules and standards. You can call Brew. Who do you have higher, the Lions or the Chiefs?
The Chiefs are
Okay,
a better
so we
team,
agree on
but
that.
but I'm saying your logic of they beat so-and-so by 40,
No.
they only beat them
No.
by 28
No.
or
18.
18. They only beat them by 18.
No, Brew.
That's
It is
not how
that
it works.
the Cowboys win over the Giants all week. You must acknowledge has been
They've
minimized.
looked great
No,
until-
but on this show has been minimized.
Yes, I would agree.
And now we are elevating the Niners for beating that same opponent in a more injured state,
So,
in a less impressive
I'm not
manner.
elevating. I'm not necessarily saying the Niners have been more impressive over 3 weeks. What I'm saying is
you
if you're
trust them more at
asking
the
me
end of the
to
year. That's
project
fine.
who's going to go deeper, I go with the
So
Niners.
if the Patriots beat the Jets more than the Cowboys beat the Jets, the Patriots better than the Cowboys?
The two teams.
It's okay.
Hold on. Don't ask me
I
that question
said
and not
if
let
he
me
wants to
answer.
rest his hat on that.
opponents is
Hold on. If there are two teams that appear to be very equal, then I think pulling in as much data points as possible is fine. I agree with you. Common opponents by itself and just using it as the transitive property of sports is idiotic. But when you have two 2-0 teams with great defenses where different people have different questions about their quarterbacks, maybe playing the same opponent within 10 days of itself should be at least slightly useful information.
I also
but maybe I'm
disagree
a
with
dope.
your James Worthy take.
Okay. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.